roast. GBP roast. Sorry, you in danger. Right now I gotta flame you. This is GBP roast. GBP roast on your Google business profile. It's about to go down. We roasting and reacting. We ain't come to play. 20 years in SEO. JP, Lambo, and Dre. Bringing facts and guests. Oh yeah, we bring the dopeness. Welcome to the show. Hope your profile don't get roasted.
Happy hump day. Happy hump day. How many of you remember that commercial? Mike. Oh, yeah. Do you what brand that was
a long time. You're showing my age.
The Geico commercial?
Yeah.
The camel started walking around. Oh man, that was a classic one. What's up, everyone? Hopefully everyone got to watch the Google I/O and learn more about what Google's doing. But today we'll be talking about a few things. We'll be checking in on our ranking in public test, and obviously going through some reaction videos. And JP will be going over. Will you be going over? Your website is the power.
I'm going to be talking about how GBP is the plug and your website is the power source.
And then for Lambo's world, we have cost versus value. What's that about?
Yeah, really trying to understand the perception of the value that people put into it, but what's the actual cost, right? That little challenge that's always at a battle for everything that a human does.
What do you mean? Like, oh, we'll talk about it at that time, but let's get right into our very first reaction video. All right.
Do I need my
business shares the same address and same primary category as other businesses? Google will often filter you out. It's super common with things like office buildings full of lawyers, or using lawyer as their primary category, or realtors using the same brokerage address. Google's goal is to show variety, not 5 identical businesses in the same location. And before you ask, no, adding a suite number won't fix this. Google still treats this at the same place. So how do you break out of the filter? The easiest way to stand out is by changing your primary category. For example, instead of using the broad lawyer primary category, switch to something more specific like family lawyer or personal injury lawyer. That small tweak could be all it takes to pop back up in the results as long as no other business is using this already.
But what if you can't do that?
Yeah.
What if you can't change it and you're in an office building with 12 lawyers? What do you do?
What do you do?
Just
Change
have
it from
to.
dental office to dog boarding.
You need brand prominence. You need just to be the more stronger brand in that area. But if you're new, right, you're like, well, I'm a brand new guy. What am I going to do? Guess what? You're just going to have to get an office away from them, right? Because if you ever look at the maps, the way they triangulate, and I know JP's got good insight on this, that is the true way to beat that.
Yeah, I've actually, this is pretty problematic in the real estate niche. I've actually had several clients come to me and say, hey, like one of our top selling real estate agents is ranking above our corporate office. I'm like, well, their SEO is better than you, dude. Like, I mean, what else do you want me to say? And so that's always a freak out moment when they're like, hey, my agents are doing better than my actual brand. So, I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand. That, I mean, he's right by just changing suite numbers or anything like that. It's going to change. You are going to get things are filtering, especially when you get into a large real estate brokerage when they have, 30 real estate agents. Something like that, you would want to recommend, hey, agent, go ahead and use your home address, just hide the address, especially because if you live in a different city, you just have more, it's more advantageous for you. But I would not change categories. I wouldn't get in the habit of doing that, swapping things out. You can get things suspended. You can have things that are problematic where Google's looking at your primary category for everything that you're doing. So I would never recommend doing that.
So you're pretty much SOL if your SEO is not good and if you're in a company.
No, just build a brand, do everything that we teach, So if you're getting filtered out, it just comes down to the fact that you're just not a prominent brand, and that's what this is all about.
Marketing. Imagine that.
So if let's say three real estate agents have great brand presence, they will show up and then the rest won't. I mean, they can. How many will they? Do you know how many Google will actually show in the same place?
There's three in the 3-pack, but then if you physically look at the map, you might see 5 to 6 red dots. So that does draw the consumer to visually maybe click on something. And that happens, more than we think. So typically,
it's very unlikely that you're going to have a corporate office and 2 real estate agents all ranking in the pack, and then while there's other businesses, very, very unlikely. It's just probably not going to happen.
How about if there's like 5 real estate agents within this? Like, I mean, how many real estate agents can use the same address and still show up?
They allow for everyone. So same thing with like dental practices. If you have 5 dentists in the office, each one of them can have their own. So you can really have how many are in your office. So there's no.
And if you physically do this, and if you open up a map, right, and you're way up, 10,000 look, and you're coming down, Google's not going to have 3 red balloons all on top of each other. They don't really have the technology to make it work. What they will do, they'll zoom in a little bit, and then they're just going to put the guy who's 3 blocks away or the other guy who's 10 blocks away, that triangulation. It's just, it really is going to depend on the search for sure. I've seen this. Let's say if you say, I'm looking maybe like right in the downtown metro, 5 city blocks, then yes, you might see the red balloons float a little bit in that 3-pack, but people don't search that way, right? It's lawyer near me, DUI attorney, Boise, whatever. That's kind of what they're searching.
Yeah, they're going to see what's being displayed on the listing. Usually they don't really look at the map and how that's shown.
No, but I mean, my question is more of like, let's say like, does they say filtering out. When does that filtering out start? Like, how many will they show within a company using the same address?
You could have, there's not really a limit. I mean, but more than likely, I've seen on average, just based on what I've seen, it's usually about 2 to 3 deep is when they start to filter those out. So that could vary on numerous things. But for example, we saw this a lot in the bail bonds industry because bail bonds, usually their offices are right next to the courthouse for obvious reasons. And then they actually used to allow you to have like a bail agent listing with that as well. So imagine you have 5 bail bonds all within a block of one another, and then you have all these bail agents underneath of that. So eventually that is all going to get filtered out. More than likely, depending if they on the prominence of the brand, they're going to determine which one's going to be obviously the best one. And that comes down to branding, right? So
love it. Branding. All right, let's get into our next reaction video.
And to show you the third and final thing that you need to do to rank higher is something that this is a very good example of. The French onion soup was really good, right? They're showing us this because someone said this in an actual review. And so if you want to rank higher, you need to make sure, and not just rank higher, but rank higher for more search terms. Right? Because if I type in something that's not French onion soup, I bet you WeHo Bistro does not show up because that's actually pretty far from where I live. So what you need to do is try your best to get more reviews with keywords in.
Yeah. Well, duh. If that's what you're known for, that's what you do, then clearly that's what you want to promote. Like JP says, where are you at? What do we do? What was the problem that was resolved?
Yep.
I mean, how can you get? I mean, I hear this all the time. Like, yeah, the keywords should be in the reviews, but how can you help customers leave reviews that include keywords that you want?
By using exactly that template, it's like, let us know where you live, let us know the type of service that you had.
Okay.
So that could be a restaurant. Let us know what you ate here, what you ordered on the menu. Take a picture of it and let us know how it was. So yet you ask for it for the details that you want.
You know what I've been seeing? Because if I continue that video, that guy actually has a service where they send him to a page where it's like, I don't know how it works, but they send them to a page before they go to the GBP review. It's like
BirdEye. BirdEye has a similar service where they have like 3 different review. You can say leave a review on Yelp, leave a review on Google, and you can actually click on the link and it'll take you directly to it. I don't know if they still allow this, but you used to be able to send a hot link to like a 5-star where it would automatically leave the 5-star for you. So you kind of trick someone into doing that, but I don't think they have that anymore.
How does that work? So when someone's done, you go leave us a review, and they'll go to like a landing page, and then they would fill it out, and then they would redirect it or add it.
So then it would take that information and automatically go to whatever, if it's going to their Yelp or to their Google business, however that's set up.
Got it. All right. let's check out our last reaction video for today.
However, if you are able to change the name of the company to Sally's HVAC in Westchester, PA, or Westchester, PA's Sally's HVAC,
really?
the point is Google's going to see that and go, okay, we want to rank you in that top spot because your keywords match up the best. This is going to get you in that first spot guaranteed every single time. However, your competitors, if they're smart, will try to report your business as a scammer because the scam people know this trick. And what happens is they don't actually go out and get the DBA.
Yeah, it's kind of real scary to do it because you just invested 3 years, 30 years in a brand, and now you're like, well, I want to be HVAC in Westminster. Well, that's not who you are. That's not the reputation. That's not all the citations and all the links. Like, there's a lot more to it, and you need to legally change it and then be able to show a piece of paper to Google, hey, this is who I am. Why? So that you can just get, you know, a 1 mile, 2 mile square radius. It's marketing. If you're a great brand, great customer service, just be awesome and the rankings will take care of themselves.
Yeah, I will say one thing that's really important that you do want to consider. Don't go that deep into it. You want to really, at least the very least, have your main category or what you do in the business name. That comes down to branding. If you're an HVAC company, you should probably be ABC HVAC rather than ABC company. That's going to make a big difference. But you don't need to spam it with city. I wouldn't recommend doing that. The only time you would really need to do something like that, there are markets where it gets extremely competitive. If you're in the addiction and rehab niche, if you're in locksmith and garage door, if you're in a really big city, those are times where you have to look at the market and say, well, everyone else is doing it, I kind of have to do it too. So that would be in that case.
Nice. Love it. So, but you do that, but you do actually recommend, because I heard you say this before, that if you do want to get something with a keyword in it, just get a DBA, just so
Get
you
a
have that.
DBA, you can file at the local county clerk's office, you know, $15 to $30. So, and you just tie it to your LLC and corporation.
And can you have multiple? I mean, I'm not curious. Have you?
You
done
can have
this
as many as you
multiple?
want.
Oh,
You can have as many as you
Oh.
want.
oh, so you can put every city if you want. Just pay the $30.
You could.
Oh, there you go.
Create a unique brand. That's the what, the who. And then what do? I'm Easy Fencing. Easy, capital E, capital Z. Oh, that's unique. That's different. That's short. What do? I do fencing, right? Simple, easy. Then you can also, you're not pigeonholed to just being in one city, one area. You can then take that brand across the valley, across the state, the nation.
There you go. All right. Love it. Okay, let's get into our ranking in public case study that we have going on here. Last week we added a
You did services.
services. Yeah, we did services and descriptions. So basically, last week we're averaging at 5.2. We had a couple bad pins, 4 not ranking pins, and then just checked recently. We actually now average 4.3, and it's stuck. Like, remember our tactic the previous week went up, but it reverted back normal. That was the questions and answers where we ask questions. But this one, it stayed throughout the whole week. So great tip there, guys. Make sure that you have your services and descriptions completely filled out. And now it's time to figure out what should we do next. What do you think?
I would, Keith, do you have one that you want to suggest?
Well, I mean, we know reviews are a big driver, so
Yeah,
I mean, if that's
I would
all
recommend-
possible,
How about
keyword
photo?
in the review,
You do photo?
drive.
Just get one.
One review.
Yeah.
Uh,
And use the
Beautiful.
same template, your main, city, where did you have the service, and then what was done and
you
how
could
it was.
do it, right? Because you like actually close by here. You could leave a review.
Yeah, I'll call them up and because I actually need to get some stuff done
Okay,
on my
everyone
car.
out there, quick sidebar.
All
If
right.
you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, send a personal DM to Dre Black Hat and
All right,
leave
never mind.
him a review, okay? Do not report this to Google. All right, thanks.
It's just a test. It's just a test. Oh, all right. All right, guys. We'll check that out. We'll get one review, and we'll see what that review looks like and see what it did to the listing. And let's get on to our next segment of the show. All right. Let's get on to JP.
Yeah, we're going to verify some GMBs right now. How we doing?
Woo! Tech talk.
All right. So today we're going to talk about how your Google business and the importance of actually having a website. So we're going to take a look in the locksmith industry, one of my favorites, how I got into local SEO.
Oh.
So this is actually a perfect example of a market where you may need to add a city within the actual business name. As you can see, looking at locksmith San Francisco, all the results here say San Francisco in the name. So this is unfortunately one of those markets where you kind of have to take a look at and say, hey, what's everyone doing, and kind of compare to that. However, there is a caveat to that. You could risk getting suspended if you don't have actual legal paperwork and things like that. For a locksmith, it's very nefarious for a lot of spam. So if you get suspended, you risk having a very difficult time coming back up. So keep that in mind. The main purpose of this is I want to talk about when we type in locksmith San Francisco, you'll see some different tabs up here. So this is going to give you a really good indicator. These will change periodically depending on the search query, but pay attention to these because these are the types of things that you may want to consider having and displaying on your website that really matches with what the search results are and to what you actually provide on your Google business profile. So in your profile, you're allowed to add, services and products. So if there's certain products, for example, you'll see on the tabs up here, one of them was Schlage. This is a lock brand. So that is a brand that you service that may be something you want to put into your products, especially if you have a story. Just say, hey, we do carry Schlage, locks and products. So that's something that you want to actually match within the actual products tab in your Google business profile. You also want to make sure that you also match the information that's being found on your Google business, also with your website. So I just threw up a quick site earlier in the week, which basically this shows everything for, hey, we do provide residential services, commercial, automotive. So you want to make sure that a lot of the messaging that is being shown in search results, you have that messaging on your website. Google is really great in that it gives you a lot of hints of what types of things that users are searching for. So I can't stress this enough how important this is to make sure that you do have a website. Yes, you can rank a listing. However, your website's going to be a huge benefit by keeping that rank, and it really helps you rank overall. So it's beneficial for you to actually have a website. Obviously, the messaging that you have, we're 5-star rated, BBB accredited, we're certified, licensed, and insured, maybe some customer reviews. And then if there's products that you offer, such as types of locks and things like that in this case, and then obviously your service area. So it's really important that you pay attention to what Google is telling you. You may want to look for use different search queries. So maybe automotive locksmith San Francisco. And one thing that's really also important to pay attention to is a lot of the highlights that you see here, like this is coming from a review. They mentioned locksmith. They mentioned locksmith here again. So depending on the query, you may see some different results on what's actually being highlighted in bold. So that's all I have for today.
And if you need someone to help you verify a locksmith, contact Jordan Pierce at gbpverifications.org.net/Pierce.
.co.uk.
We had this message from the audience, and I saw that one of those people had also near me.
Yeah,
it did. We actually covered that on one of our episodes where we talked about ranking for near me. So
it could be super dangerous.
Yeah,
because that is such a common search, but now you want to be branded for it, right? You want to be dentist near me, Thai food near me. There's all kinds of people trying to get away with it.
Yeah.
It has been an uphill battle for many of these companies. We've done lots of research and case studies on it. you're much better being unique. That's what Google really wants to see. Like I mentioned earlier, easy fencing. You spell it different, you are different, but you can still convey who you are, what you do. And if you want to put the city in your official name, fine, do it.
So that one locksmith, I mean, it kind of seemed like, I mean, the thing is, you can't really tell, I mean, if it's an actual legit company or not, but it definitely like looked like it was definitely stuff because it said near me, San Francisco. It just had a bunch of keywords after
Yeah,
the name.
most of those. I mean, that guy, he may have a real company, but the
Oh.
business name is not legit. I'll tell you that.
All right. Well, like the one guy in the reaction video says, like, people just report it. Some haters.
No,
We don't
I'm not
do
in the
that.
business of ruining other people.
We are not gonna do any Joy Hawkins kind of stuff around here, okay? Either you beat them or you just deal with it.
All right. All right.
La 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 la.
Episode.
Lambo's world. Lambo. La 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 la. Lambo's world. Lambo likes conversions and SEO too. That's Lambo's world.
Fun stuff today, boys and girls.
Oh yeah.
Why? Sorry, I'm always having this problem.
Got it.
Here,
Cost versus value. How our brains decide what we're giving up versus what
you give up versus what you get. Sounds like something, from a 1980s song, or when Dre graduated for his prom, right? Today, we're going to be talking about, super important, the cost and the value. It's really how our brains decide what you're going to give up versus what you're going to get in return. Now, we humans, we like to maximize this value, right? But we want to minimize the cost. There's just that general balance. And then the value is going to be influenced by brand reputation, customer experience, pricing strategies, and your feelings, right? Woo! How many times does Lambo talk about feelings? A lot. With that, remember, cost is going to be, it's just more than a monetary value, right? Obviously, it's the actual price. Hey, how much for a new iPhone? Oh, it's $1,000. That is the actual simple cost, right? Dollars and cents. Then you have a less obvious, such as the time researching that phone, the effort to set it up, the stress if it breaks. That's that hidden cost. Then you have the opportunity cost. What else could you have done with that time or money? Well, I could have maybe went on vacation, or I can't repair my car. So those are all the little challenges going on inside our little brains. With that, you then run into what you actually get, right? But wait. This is where it really gets personal, because the actual value is how you feel about something. It's just totally subjective. And it's that overall gut feeling about whether something it's worth the cost that you're putting in, right? That overall balance. Is it going to be worth it? I don't know. Now remember, what's valuable to you is focus on you, not me. So you always have to put your shoes in your customers, put your feet in your customer's shoes, right? To say, hey, how do they really feel about this? What's the real challenge that they have? All right, let's go over some different flavors of all this value stuff. A hammer. It's sturdy, it's reliable, it hits the nail straight, perfect. That's functional, it works. Now, it's a good deal. It's on sale for $9, it's regularly $20, perfect. That's monetary value, that's a steal. Then you have the social. Well, how does that nice big hammer look on your hip? Oh man, it's a nice hammer, right? That's that social side. And then you have the psychological factor, which is how does that hammer feel in your small little hand? And does it increase your security? Is your hammer, is it maybe made from retired veterans who were demolishing Harley Davidsons from recycled parts? That's the other part of all this flavor value. Flavor Flav. Now, your brain, right, is always competing of the value for the least cost. Give me the most for the least. It's just a natural instinct. We perceive something as a high value, then we're going to be usually willing to pay for that. Now remember, it is perception, how your customer sees it. Brand reputation, this is a big one on the how your website can really help influence the customer. With that, buying a well-known brand, right? Do you want the expensive luxury brand with a great warranty, or do you want the cheaper car, gets the job done? Don't forget about the overall customer experience. That easy to use website versus a store clerk who totally help you, that also increases value. Then those little secret pricing strategies. We talk a lot about this in Lambo's world. Something that's just $9.99 versus something that's $10, 10.000. You see that as high end, and it makes you think, oh wow, I got a steal on that. Here's the Lambo bottom line, kids. The value isn't just that low price tag. It's really going to be totally worth someone how they, that feeling that they're going to get, and how the business can influence this. Great service, great marketing, you're smart about that, you have an awesome experience, and then understanding how people think, and then how you're going to help them accomplish that goal. Is it going to be overcoming something? Is it going to be a case of you save them money, you did it faster, you did it better, or even, hey, I have this problem, yo, I'll solve it.
What are your thoughts?
Like a hammer, you nailed that one.
Boom, boom.
That's
Hammer time.
How about when you do packages? When people do those things where they had that value versus cost, and then they give you that, okay, this is a total value with their final cost.
And it's right, and that's the way something could be like delivered to you, right? Where you might see something that says it's 200 regular, and then in red it says now 150. Well, right away you're like, oh, it's in red, it's at a lower price, I'm going to take advantage of it.
It does work, because we used to do that a lot when we presented for conferences. We would say ticket price is $1,000, plus we're throwing all this other stuff. Total value is $10,500 by doing that. So it is an effective form of packaging and putting pricings, because people really want to know, like, if I'm buying this, what is my return? Like, what am I getting out of this? So it does give you kind of a wow factor by saying, total value, especially when it comes to services.
And many times you just need a test, right?
Yeah.
Maybe just throw out some different variables. Like, there's weird things. Do you want to save $100, or do you want to save 50%? Well, if 50% of 200 is 100, what's the impact that makes on the customer?
Can we give out coupons for reviews? Like, hey, here's 50% off your next service if you leave a review.
Hey,
you're not allowed to.
All right. So the other thing too, when you send him the message, ask him for a coupon, and you'll get an extra dentless special.
All right, never mind. All right, let's get out to All right.
Burning up. Do you want to do some sharing, or I can share? What do you want to do there?
You drive, Mr.
I'm
Mr.
driving
Lambo.
Da 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 da. Metzler world. Metzler's world. What the hell is this?
Metsler.
Oh my gosh. Welcome to Metsler Electric. Well, that's a cute little hero call us now. Got hours, the dates. Kind of hard maybe to read the text.
Can't
What do
even
we
read
do? It's clean and simple. Holy shit! What does Lambo have a problem with here? Way too many bullets, right? Most people are really only going to grasp like 3 to 5. So open with a little bit stronger what we do, and then the reason why tied into value and cost, right? You don't need to go through all this stuff. Just focus on the main things. Someone SEO'd this. This is what I'm saying. What sets us apart? Okay, blah, 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 blah. We're a team, we're generic, we're crap, blah, blah. Get ready to get started. Once again, hard to kind of read this. Call us now. Why? Why would I call you now, right? Can I even do anything with these buttons? Holy shit! Guys, stop doing that. These don't do anything, but they make me want to click them. Whoa, it's fine. Did it work?
It worked.
Oh my gosh, it worked.
It's slow. It's just
A week later.
Oh,
gotta change your hosting.
I stand corrected. Videos can be nice too. The one thing I typically like to do is push them a little bit higher, right? Because people run out of patience, and it's okay even if you could put a video like this right here could be the actual video. You could even have the video float up in your hero. If we jump over, oh my gosh, I need my goggles on for this. This is some serious. Best quality electrical surfaces. Services. This is clearly amateur hour here. You don't need Wisconsin, okay? You don't really need to stress this as much. You could maybe put it in a headline. You could maybe just put it, in the description, but you're not even using a description. It's missing. Also, your actual brand is Metsler Electric, so I don't always put this here. Oh, I know that's not what the big gurus say. Put it at the end, or even just get rid of it entirely. Now, what are we really missing here? You're just stating residential, commercial. What you really have to say is you're going to have to do some form of the word electric, electrical. What are all of the semantics and entities related to that? And oh, oof and a, what is this? The H1 is listed down here. Oh my gosh, I need to go take some pills. What do you want to do now, Jordan, with this thing?
Just by observation, when I searched Electrician, Green Bay, Wisconsin, WI, it shows up 4 in Google for the Google Business Maps, but it shows up number 1 in Maps. Is there is that always is there a difference all the time when it why would it show up number 1 in Maps, but maybe lower down in Google, their Google Business profile?
So there's a big difference between the search platform, so /search and then /maps. Sometimes it'll say local services because this also gets put into local service ads. Those are 3 different platforms, so they will vary a little bit. One thing that's important too, that most of your Google search is keeping track of user agents, user history, fingerprinting, and things like that. So you may see different results based on overall search history. Even searching in incognito mode isn't always the case, because Google, if you're using Chrome, they're still using fingerprinting and recording keystrokes and things like that. So things are going to vary a little bit. If you want the most accurate results, is to actually use the actual Google Maps URL or Google Maps app.
Okay.
So because that trickles into the search platform. You'll see things vary a little bit too, because there are some different features in Google search. Like I showed in the Tech Talk, you'll see some of those tabs. You don't always get a lot of those in the actual Google Maps platform itself, but that's why it's good to understand that there is a difference between how it's being displayed, because when you start getting into AI, the messaging that you have with your website is what really feeds into a lot of that Google search. Most of the time, if you're ranking on Google search, though, you shouldn't see too much of a variation into the actual Google Map platform.
So there are 3 there. Or no, that's actually 2 because the first one's a sponsored one.
Yep.
I'm curious too. Like if you click on the maps, I wonder what the position is when you click on the maps on the tab on top. If you, I guess there. Yeah. See, yeah, they are number 1 still too. So it's kind of the same thing that's happening. You're saying like,
and a lot of that's just going to depend on just kind of overall branding and what's happening with just your overall search. But even on normal search for me, like they're number 2 if I use incognito.
How about in maps? Are they number 1 in maps?
They're number 1 in maps.
Okay. So like you're saying, the maps should be like is the more
It should
like
be
accurate?
pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're all in different places, and it shows up number 1 for me as on their map. So they're doing good stuff. Why are they ranked number 1 for this?
So the biggest thing for me, I mean, these guys, even though the website isn't necessarily the best, I mean, they have everything that they are really utilizing. Branding is good. Their overall messaging is good. And one thing that's kind of nice about this is it's kind of a unique brand. They're, even though they're not doing a ton of real SEO, even on the homepage, there is sometimes Google likes to see some type of uniqueness. So even though like if you were to get a bunch of SEOs looking at this, you'd be like, man, I don't understand how they're ranking.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing all these backlinks, we're doing citations, we're getting reviews. Sometimes Google just likes a unique brand. Sometimes they just like something that doesn't look like a cookie cutter, brand to what all the other results. A lot of times too, this could be a company that they're getting a lot of engagement too. They're just getting a lot of traffic on their business profile. There's quite a few things that sometimes we just don't see on the back end that these guys are doing.
The founder of the company since 1967, Master Electrician. They have a great About Us page. I have not seen this in depth of an About page in a very long time. So they're strongly branded. And if you really just sit back and you say, my gosh, they probably really don't care because they're so well known.
Yeah.
They get enough.
Their oldest review is 7 years ago too.
Oh,
yeah. They get clicks and traffic, and are they missing out on organic? Probably. I didn't go in that deep, but they are delivering at least some of the things that people expect. It's just some disconnect, right?
Do you think, like, you mentioned like we shouldn't be putting Inc. LLC and all that stuff. You think if they remove the Inc. on their Google business profile, it would do something for them?
Probably not too much. Because they kind of have that across their branding and kind of across the board, and so it would probably wouldn't do a ton, but you actually are supposed to, even though a lot of companies do this, you're not even supposed to use your Inc. or LLC. But it's pretty unlikely that they're going to get flagged.
But at the same time, they're already number 1 anyway. So like, how else could they move up by removing that Inc.? Yeah.
The domain is 19 years old.
Yeah,
that's old for the kind of people that I deal with.
I mean, and when I look at that, I say, okay, this is a company that used to be in the yellow pages and white pages, and eventually they showed up on Google Maps. They've been there forever.
Yeah.
This would be an interesting thing too. We kind of learned about this last week. Is where is this phone number showing up on Google? And I bet it's just, look, they're in a directory of home builders. It's the first thing for their brand. Facebook, Focus on Energy, there's Yelp, there's BBB, Martin Systems, even Yahoo Local. Yeah, holy shit.
Yahoo
LinkedIn, Instagram, another BBB. If it's fully, I'm not vetting into this. I'm just shouting out this directory info, but this would be interesting too. I love to do this. Let's do full quotes around that portion. And then
They have
How
a
many
pretty
paid?
big staff too. They're a pretty
Yeah.
decent sized company. The only thing that I would probably really say, I'm pretty shocked that they only have 16 reviews, but it's pretty common in the industry in electrical. I know that there's companies that have been around forever. They don't really have a ton of reviews.
They just
What do the competitors have? If you go back to and see what I'm curious, like what the average.
yeah.
Well, one of them has like
16,
almost 400.
35
have-
in their backyard, 40 similar.
That
Yeah, I
one. See,
mean,
that one
there's
is
a
400,
big
they're way
one,
down there.
379.
Let's take a look at that one. Why are they so down? They have a ton of reviews.
This one, plug.
Hmm.
Is that the one you
Yeah.
want to look at?
They're also not even in Green Bay.
Oh yeah, they're not. That makes sense. We search for Green Bay. Yeah.
See, that's something that people should look at too, because they're in a different city, but they have a ton of reviews. Sometimes if you were to say all things equal and they were not in Green Bay, but everyone else had a ton of reviews and had more engagement, Plug Light would not be where it's at.
There you go. All right, and that we are at time, guys.
What?
Great stuff.
Come
Great
on.
stuff.
We have an
I didn't even. Oh, stop it. I didn't even get a chance to show you my sexy joy outfit that I have.
You can
So
show it next
next
week.
week.
Next week you should do that because next week she will also be on the show. So be sure to check that out, guys.
Oh
Hit the notification bell.
no.
And any updates on your side, guys? When you want to share with anyone? I saw you put a new video, Keith. Right? I saw a new video that you put out on removing service pages.
Yeah, that's like a 10-minute show by itself, hence why the video. But yes, you can check out my channel, Keith Lambo. I really focus basically everything that you get here, but just more super focused on tangible things you can do for your small business.
We also have a special right now for our group. If you go to tridentrankmethod.com, we have a special right now. It's only $1.99 a month.
Check. Oh my gosh, 5 payments of $199. Do you have a CRO guy who works for you?
Yeah, my VA.
That's right, bitch.
All right, be sure to check that out. Did you have to put a coupon or anything like that, or is it just go in?
No, it's
just go
no
in.
coupon necessary.
All
But
right.
actually, I do want.
Whoops, I think I put the wrong.
I think there's a quantity of 4. So once we hit 4 more, then it'll go away.
How do you spell Trident? I tried putting in the method. Trident, Trident.
Trident, like the gum,
Oh, there you
or like the staff.
I don't know. I think some people spell it Joe Momoa. How do you spell that? Momo, mama, mom, Joe, mama, Joe, Mo.
All right.
Joe.
All right, guys.
What's
You can call it a day. Be sure to
what's
check me
the
out.
guy's
on
name?
Friday.
Who's
Samoa?
who's
or,
not the
Jason
merchant
Momoa.
man?
Samoa.
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
Jason
Momoa.
That's how you spell right there. Boom. That's how you spell Trident, baby.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys on Friday. See you guys next week. Until next time, peace out. Let's get going.
Need to stop letting Lambo drives too much. Just goes off kilter.
Hey, GBP roast, GBP roast. Sorry, you in danger. Right now, I gotta flame you. This is GBP roast, GBP roast. On your Google business profile, it's about to go down. We roasting and reacting. We ain't come to play. 20 years in SEO. JP, Lambo, and Dre, bringing facts and guests. Oh yeah, we bring the dopeness. Welcome to the show. Hope your profile don't get roasted.
Man,